It's more fun when we make high school students do it.
Look at me, Madeline. Alrighty, I'm happy.
Okay, are we recording?
And you're rolling.
All right. Want me to grab this?
Do you want me to introduce myself, or will that just be a frame?
We'll go ahead and add that in there just so.
Is that frame okay for you, Paul?
What's that?
Is that frame okay?
Yeah, it's great. So, Madeline, why don't you're looking at me right now. Okay, perfect. All right, so, Madeline, why don't you tell me who you are and what you do, where you do it?
Okay. My name is Madeline1. I'm the educational issues reporter for the Fort Collins Coloradoan.
All right. Give me that one more time, but like finish out your Coloradoan. Like, yeah, finish out your sentences. That'll be a big deal.
Hi there, I'm Madeline1. I'm the educational issues reporter with the Fort Collins Coloradoan.
Perfect. All right. So I've got a few questions for you, pinned by Mackenzie Warren, it appears. So why don't we start with, you changed your beat a while back. You worked with a few people to do that. Would you talk about how you changed your beat and your work pattern, focus, et cetera, based on what you were seeing with web metrics?
Yep. So when I came on board at the Coloradoan, we had the traditional schools page that a lot of papers across the nation have. And people had told us for years, this is the news we want. We want the features from the classroom. We want the good stuff that's happening in the schools, and that's all we want. We just want the briefs. We want our schools page. We love it. And once we started looking at metrics, we saw that people didn't seem to want them. They said they did, but the metrics weren't playing out. We were getting barely hundreds of reads on these stories, and it didn't seem like it was worth it. I was spending nearly a day a week producing this page for not a lot of return. And so after several months and after some analysis, we said, all right, let's go ahead, let's take the page away. Let's see how the community reacts. And we will reroute those 8 or 9 hours that you're using to focus on stories that we think people want, the issues-based stories, the ones that impact the entire school district, not just one school. And people responded. They responded to the stories about growth and enrollment changes and curriculum overhaul across the district, as opposed to just highlighting something that happened at one school and impacted a couple hundred people. And that forever changed how I did my work. We saw very shortly after my personal page views just start to go up. Numbers played out, and that I had 50% growth in a few months after that happened. And it was really rewarding because I was able to spend time on things that truly mattered to people, and they were telling us through the numbers as opposed to what they told us in person.
One quick thing, I don't know if you want to fix this. Your hair kind of came down right there, just a little
Do a
bit.
flyaway?
Just a little, yeah. Oh, there you go. You got it. So
Okay.
not a big deal. So anyway, just thought we'd get it before we moved on. Just cool. I like that you know your story so well. Like you know how to tell your own story. When you first looked at the metrics to kind of take a look at that, what did you find, and how were those findings how did they compare and contrast to what you were already thinking did or didn't work? Like, did the metrics line up with your gut?
The metrics, once I started looking at them compared to what I thought they would tell me, were relatively similar. We knew that people here in the community loved education. They loved every aspect of it. They thought we were a powerhouse here in the community. But, they were telling us they wanted the fun stories, the cute stories. But what people care about is they care about changes. They care about how legislation impacts their child. They care about how the state school board decisions around testing impacts their child. They care about discipline actions and policy that affects thousands of kids rather than hundreds. And we started to see that play out in the numbers. Time and time again, those stories were doing better than the ones that we had traditionally covered as, I would say, newspapers, the classroom features and whatnot. There were surprises along the way, and what we have to do is we have to use analytics as a way to ask why and to ask questions about what's happening rather than to say, you know what, this story didn't do well, so we're never covering that topic again. That's not what we're trying to do here. Instead, if something doesn't work the way you thought it should, you should sit down and take a look. Did I present it the right way? Did I take the right angle? Did I incorporate the right people? Did I find the high quality story that we all strive to tell, and did I put it out there in a good enough way? And as long as you continue to ask those questions, metrics will help guide your way, and then use your journalistic instincts to help come back and make it the way you want it to look.
Cool. You talked about your results, so we'll skip past that a little bit. So you've already sort of rebuilt the beat. Like you've changed this significantly. One, talk about a fairly recent success. You were highlighted for some reporting that you did by the company, so I'll let you talk about what that was. But talk about that, and then talk about, now that you've restructured your beat, what does it mean now to look at metrics?
What does it mean now to look at metrics? So when we first started here at the Coloradoan to follow this Picasso way, this way of using numbers to help guide our decisions and our journalistic instincts, it was really, really frustrating, I won't lie. I was constantly scrutinizing myself and saying, gosh, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better at? And it still is. I still have days like that where it's incredibly competitive in my own mind. But I've really enjoyed the way that we have shifted the conversation, and it's not just about page views anymore. It's about bringing in unique visitors. It's about the amount of time that people spend with our stories. It's understanding how much of a story somebody reads and the context that we're able to provide, and whether they're consuming that in the way that we hope. It's about figuring out how much of an impact your stories may have on the community, or maybe not even your stories, maybe the way you get involved. And that's the part where we talk about community connectors and we talk about being marketers. Sorry, I'm all over the place.
No, you are. It's great. We'll probably ask like half the questions this way. So
you want me to talk about the Gannett Award?
Well, yeah, I was the idea behind that question, I guess, is this hasn't just played out in numbers for you. This hasn't just been numbers on a wall. There are two different big ways you've seen some impact. So I guess one, talk about the impact with the community in terms of community connector, and then beyond that, you won a Best of Gannett Award for beat reporting. Someone said this is how education beat reporting should look. So talk a little bit about first the community connector, and we'll come back around to that piece. So
okay.
I guess the question is, what has community connecting meant for you as a beat reporter?
Yeah. So I don't think I'm doing anything special when it comes to community connecting. I think a lot of what you will experience in Picasso is what people across the company have already been doing. For me, it's speaking in classrooms at the local college, and it's teaching the next generation of journalists to be impassioned about what we do. It's doing job shadows with elementary, middle, and high school students, and again, getting them excited about what we do, whether they want to pursue this as a career or not. It's about coordinating events that bring the community together. I got to work with an amazing team here at the Coloradoan, and we put on the 18th annual Leadership and Academic All-Stars event to honor the best high school students in our community and help them tell their stories and expose them to folks in higher education and people throughout the area, and be able to celebrate their successes right alongside them. And that's something that's really neat. Sometimes stories come out of it, and sometimes we don't produce content for the paper, but we're building a relationship with our readers. And as they become more invested in us and they understand who we are and what we're about, it enhances our brand. It gets them more excited about the work that we produce. And so when we do write stories, whether critical or in celebration of the community,